All right, hi guys. Jeremy Williamson here with McInnes Realty. And the next stop as far as the new Carlisle Community Series. And today I had the pleasure to actually sit down with Craig, and he's the owner of the Black Cat here locally in New Carlisle. Just wanted to take some time to highlight what we see in the background. That's not a screen, that's the real thing. So wanted to talk with Craig, and like I said, he was so gracious to let me come in today. So I'm gonna go ahead and pass the ball to you.
Well, hi, thank you for having me. Like I said, I'm the owner of Black Cat Lanes. We're a bowling alley bar restaurant that has been in town since the mid-50s and hope to keep continuing the tradition of bowling and pizza.
Yeah. Well, and you were telling me a little bit, so you're the third generation owner of the business, right?
Yes, my grandfather had it for about 15 years. My dad had it for 37 some years, and I've had it for the last about 12 years.
Yeah. So, I mean, when you kind of more or less adapted careers, you were an engineer, you said, with
Yes.
Bosch,
Mm-hmm.
and then helping your family out, helping your dad. It basically one thing led to the other, and
Yep.
here we are today.
Yes, and many changes over the last 50 years, but we went from originally being a bowling alley that had some food and like pro bowling events to being a restaurant that offers bowling.
Yeah. Well, and when you told me that, as far as, so I mean, you can't see it in the background right now, but Craig was telling me as far as there's tiered seating. So you had the audience in here seeing the actual thing happen as far as those live competitions. So
Yes.
I've never been to one, but I've seen those on TV, and just that is so cool that it actually happened here locally. Because you said this has been around since the late 50s, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So, and then the restaurant, which is fully functioning, and you said that has the same hours as the bowling alley.
Correct. Yes. We open at 10 Monday through Friday and close at 10 Sunday through Thursday and 11 o'clock on weekends.
Yeah. Well, and as far as location, you can't really miss it because it's right behind the fire department. So from a staple standpoint, knowing where it's at, it's easy to find.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, the other thing of just talking about just the bowling alley itself and just the history of it and looking at the restaurant, you mentioned, I was asking you, do you run leagues in here? And obviously, there used to be the competitions, but now it's just open bowling each night.
Yes, we have open bowling. Hopefully, we'll get back to having parties on weekends when we get help back in the situation, get over the whole pandemic.
Yeah.
But we do a lot of Christmas parties, corporate parties in the evening time, and then like I said, hopefully it's just open bowl.
Yeah.
We'll come down and have a good time.
Yeah. Well, and obviously there's nobody on this planet, or at least very few, that don't like pizza. So Craig was telling me, as far as just obviously a huge driver for the restaurant is carryout, and just the number of slices of pizza, if you will. About 80% is carryout. So
Yep.
a lot of residents in the area get to enjoy this and don't have to go far, because the restaurant, and along with the bowling alley, back in 1980, right? You had the ice cream that was started, and did your dad start that?
My dad started it. Yes.
Okay, yeah. So tell me a little bit as far as that kind of filled in a part of the year because of what bowling season used to be. If you can speak to that a little bit.
Yeah, so bowling seasons used to run Labor Day to Memorial Day. So the summer was a dead time. There wasn't a lot of open bowling. Kids didn't bowl a whole lot back in that time period. So my dad decided that he needed to fill the emptiness, the void, for 2 to 3 months. And so he decided an ice cream parlor would be a nice addition to the town.
Yeah. Well, and you said, so this bowling alley was the first automated
Yes.
bowling alley in Northwest Indiana?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's definitely a cool attribute as far as this area. I mean, again, talking about just so many things that are in this area that people do not realize, and trying to highlight just what is so amazing about New Carlisle, it continues to fascinate me itself. So, I mean, this building, this was the original structure. This is where you were.
Right. So prior to this, in the early 1900s, it was a blacksmith shop and then a grain elevator. And then in the mid 50s, they moved the elevator down to the railroad tracks, and then they emptied the land and built this just to be a bowling alley.
Okay. All right. So it wasn't a matter of adapting the building.
No,
They
they
leveled it
and started over. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, over the last, and obviously you grew up being around the bowling alley, and your dad, and just the family before it. What would you say have been the biggest impacts, the biggest changes over those years that you've seen, that you've noticed?
As far as bowling goes, it's the open bowl. People enjoy bowling. They're just not committed to doing leagues. Leagues are too long. So the coming in once or twice a month to bowl, just to have fun versus the competitiveness of bowling. Bowling is very difficult to be good at.
Yeah.
And so people would rather just have the no stress, no additional pressure of bowling good. They just come down here and have a good time and throw the ball.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you can't see it, but it's off to the side here. So Craig, along with the bowling alley, which there's 6 lanes. So there's a fully functioning arcade that's right next to us here as well. So come in and play the game, spin your quarters there, have a good time. So even from a family atmosphere and just the opportunity to come in and enjoy what bowling offers, along with when you get hungry, just all and so many more things that are here that you don't realize. So yeah, so wanted again just say thank you to Craig and just the opportunity to chat with him for a little bit and just being a part of what makes this place great. So
well, thank you.
Wanted to say thanks for that. But again, until next time, as far as the next chapter, but again, this is the new Carlisle Community Series, and I hope you learned something new, and come on down and see Craig and give him some business, okay? Talk to you soon. Thanks so much.